Is there a certain food you simply can't resist? Craving a particular food causes trouble when it hijacks your mind and you can't rest until you've found it. And then when you start eating it, maybe you can't stop. In this video, I'm going to explain what happens in our minds when we experience a craving. I'll explain how cravings take hold in your mind and what this means for how to overcome them. I'll explain why food cravings are important to overcome if you want to achieve weight loss that stays off. I'll explain the theory of cravings, which helps to explain what's going on as the craving takes hold. You'll see this is because of how your mind works. And I'll share with you how to think about how to overcome cravings, the particular strategies and techniques that are going to help. Cravings are a type of non-hungry eating. This means that not only are you eating additional food, but they're involved in being disconnected from your appetite signals. This means that they're sort of keeping you less connected from your body and from your hunger and fullness signals. What happens when we're craving a food is that we find ourselves triggered by the sight or maybe even just the thought of a particular food, something we already love. And then our conscious mind starts adding to this thought and keeps developing it. So there are two parts to the development of the craving. The first one is the initial triggering of the thought, like an intrusion into your mind. And that's followed by conscious elaboration of that original thought. So taking an example, you've just seen somebody eating a Snickers bar. That sight of the chocolate sets off automatic associations with previous experiences. If you don't particularly like Snickers, then that's probably where the processing is going to end and you're likely just to get on with your day. But if you're a bit hooked on chocolate, then that's different. As your thinking about the chocolate becomes increasingly elaborated, you add in memories of when you've had Snickers before. You might find yourself imagining how lovely the next one will taste. And before long, you've constructed an almost lifelike image of it. These multisensory images can be really vivid and very richly textured. And what may happen now is that you start to be aware that you're not actually eating the Snickers right now. In fact, all of a sudden, you have a sense of deprivation as your brain computes the difference between how lovely it would be to eat the bar versus not having it right now. So now, in what feels like a sort of deprived state, your mind goes to work on how it can get one. And your brain now activates a sort of goal-directed action of finding a Snickers bar or something close. And one of the problems at this point is that because your mind has done so much elaboration, your working memory is now almost full of chocolate-related thoughts, memories, images, and sensations. So you might find that you're not really thinking of much else by this point. So how can you overcome cravings for foods that you really like? Well, the first step is to tune in to whether you're actually hungry right now. Because if you are, it might be that the food that you're craving is something that really would satisfy your appetite right now. But if you're not hungry right now, then this craving is a creation of your mind that was only there because of a chance intrusion, a chance thought or sight of something. So the first thing that's going to help you practically is to put things that might trigger these sorts of intrusions out of sight where you can. So consider your food environment and particularly your kitchen and maybe anywhere that you spend a lot of time, maybe your workspace, and just notice whether there's anything that's likely to be triggering these cravings. Maybe if you store the biscuits next to the tea bags, then it might be an idea to change the layout of your cupboards or your kitchen. If there's a vending machine full of things that trigger cravings when you're at work or on your way to work, maybe consider whether there's another route that you can take that makes it less likely that you'll be triggered by those things. And the second type of strategy is to learn a technique that can help to stop the elaboration, this mental elaboration of that original trigger. Here you can use mindfulness techniques, or you can use the new proven psychological techniques to work on imagery. Just a word here, which is that if this content doesn't work for you, it's not because you're doing it wrong. It may be that it's not right for you, in which case maybe talk to your healthcare provider about other approaches. If you're experiencing trouble with cravings and other forms of eating when you're not hungry, and you're interested in having my professional help with this, hit the link in the description below to see how I might be able to help. Please like this video and subscribe to my YouTube channel. My next video is on emotional eating and how to reduce it.